Hey, good morning. I just wanted to hop up here and share a quick message. Be the kind of person that you wish everyone else would be. The only thing that we have control over in this life is ourselves and our reaction to any given situation or any circumstances that arise. Be the kind of person that you wish everyone else would be. That is a really strong place to start. If you make that your goal to be the kind of person that you wish everyone else would be, it will literally rewire your mind so that you can start leading with that in mind. Like, if you just wish people were nicer or non-judgmental, ask yourself, when am I judging others? Because let's be honest, if you're a human being, the thoughts arise in your mind that judge. It's a societal standard. It's the norm. It's part of the human condition. But once you're aware of your thoughts and say you find yourself judging somebody else, ask yourself, where did that thought come from? Why do I feel myself judging this person across from me? Jealousy, that is a confusing characteristic to me, because in my mind, it's like, why be jealous of another person? If they're doing something that you want to do, but you're not doing it, don't be jealous. Go do the thing that you want to do. It's so much easier to criticize others and to be critical of others. It's a much more challenging path to start to question your thoughts. Our thoughts dictate how we perceive reality, and we do not have to be victims of our thoughts. Many wise masters have said over the years, the mind makes a terrible master, but an obedient servant. If we don't program our own mind, we will be influenced by the energies and personalities around us due to our own shadow. And the shadow is not just negative things. The shadow has a lot of really powerful energy within it. If you're scared of being seen, right? If you're terrified of being seen or terrified of the camera, for example, the part of you that could sing in front of a giant crowd, and have no care to being judged by others because you're just up there doing your thing, that strength is in your shadow. If you're consciously intimidated by being seen, you can reprogram your mind. I'm here to tell you. The first goal I remember having, I was literally like 2 years old. And, 2-year-olds have temper tantrums or whatever. But I'll never forget, I was 2 years old is the earliest memory that I have of wanting to understand how my own mind worked so that I could get it to work for me, so that I wouldn't have bad reactions, so that I could understand the programming beneath the feeling, and ultimately, uncondition the unhealthy responses. So it's taken me a very long time to get to this point in the present day, where I'm able to sit here and share this information with you. Let alone to be able to articulate it, because it's very challenging to describe feelings. That's where poets and artists, really shine, because you can create a feeling with music or a visual, because that's, tuned into our inner self, our inner child, our inner world. The creativity is something that is born from within us. It's part of our intrinsic nature to desire to be creative. And being creative, you know, somebody could be an expert at finance or even a novice at finance, but you just want to like make videos or something. Like there's no dream too big or too small. If you're having the dream, it's for a reason. Carl Jung stresses about the unlived life, you know, and what a great pain and a great weight that is on us on a subconscious level or an unconscious level, you know. But start to watch your thoughts. Question your thoughts. Question their origin. Find out if they're even your thoughts or if it's programmed behavior. If you're raised by somebody who's very judgmental, dishonest, and, you know, somewhat shameless, either you're going to go one of two ways from what I can see, from what I have witnessed. One would be you could become that person that's basically training you to have the negative reactions and impulses and jealousy and self-loathing. Like that is learned behavior, usually adopted from a primary caregiver or somebody that you were very close to. I mean, even teachers program us as children, whether or not they're aware of it. You know, most people are not aware of the fact that we're all walking around programming each other, programming responses, programming the triggers. And if we are not aware of it, then those shadow behaviors that we have adopted on some level from somebody external to us, they will run our lives. But once you start to question the origin of these thoughts, and do I actually feel this way? Like what is my actual true feeling? What does my higher self see? And the higher self is literally unconditional love. You know, it just wants us to live in this existence free from the pressure and the weight and the haunting of things that become depression, anxiety, even those with high conflict personalities and malignant behaviors and programming. If we can shine this awareness on our thoughts and really dig deep and admit the things that are most difficult to admit, which would be, you know, I have this aspect that I feel like is my personality. I don't like it. I don't want to be critical. I don't want to be judgmental. Then your mind starts to align things so that you can become the version of yourself that is free from those hauntings, that is free from those all-consuming, at times, thoughts. Okay, so we're at 8 minutes, 15 seconds now. I just wanted to hop up here and share a quick message. A lot of these messages feel like it's guidance from my soul. And like each one of us, you know, has our own soul, and our souls are like thumbprints, each one of a kind. We are each our own little universe. But like Ram Dass said, we're all just walking each other home. We're planting seeds in each other. You know, if you water the seed of negativity and anger, then you will grow that in your psyche, in your inner world. And it will create disease and illness and hypertension and all sorts of other negative physical effects, depression, all of that. Whereas if we water the seed of positivity or hope, especially gratitude, then we will experience those feelings in our inner world, and it will reflect out in our external world. We'll start to notice the little things, you know, like, oh wow, the clouds look extra big and fluffy today, or you know, you catch the sunrise or the sunset and it like stops your heart for a second because you're just in awe of the beauty. Like we can't notice these little things in nature. Sorry, I got a phone call. I had to deny it. If we can notice these things in nature, that's a sign that we are successfully reprogramming ourselves. All right, the phone call I got just distracted me, so I'll take it as a sign to sign off. And I'm just going to go ahead and upload this video, and sooner rather than later, I'm confident that we will be comfortable up here. I just really want to help share my experience, strength, and hope. Any messages I feel guided to share. We all have these different energies within us that are trying to speak, sometimes all at the same time, and it can be overpowering at times. But once we learn to start focusing on our inner world and the different parts of ourselves that are trying to speak and communicate, and even the different parts from the collective unconscious that are trying to speak and communicate, we can learn to differentiate the difference between the inner voices. And, an inner voice might be something as simple as a feeling, but start entering a dialogue with yourself. If this resonates with you, this method might not resonate with everyone. This video might not resonate with everyone, or with anyone. What matters is that you focus on yourself less than you focus on what others around you are doing. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that we have control over is ourselves and our reactions to situations. And if you feel like that's not true, I don't have control over that, I can relate. I spent years where I knew I could reach a point where I had complete control over my thoughts and reactions to situations, but I would still have like the shadow arise and in a negative way and have like bad reactions. And then I later discovered that it was a complex. And I have since healed that complex, and Carl Jung, reading his works and diving deep into that, the Red Book especially, really, really helped me shed that all-consuming autonomous complex that was living rent-free in my mind. It was controlling all of my thoughts, behaviors, and reactions. And once in a while, the soul would, bubble up, and I'd have one of its messages. I've been writing for ages. It was mostly poetry. Now it's a lot of inner work. But when I look back in my old journals and I see these old poems, and it's, hopeless, 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 and then the little drop of hope, your soul is trying to communicate with you. It's just a matter of tuning out the conditioned behaviors and responses that are placed on us by the societal norms and, ancestral lineage, tuning that out so that we can tune into our inner world and hear what it's trying to convey to us. And, Carl Jung believed that our inner world was more real than this physical reality. And I find myself agreeing with that perspective. And he was a genius. He, to me, was like a pioneer of the inner world. He was an explorer, and his goal was to collect empirical data so that he could not look at it from, simply a metaphysical perspective or, like a spiritual, mythological perspective, but he wanted to show the data that backed up what he was sharing. And his work doesn't resonate with everyone. Some people branded him a pseudoscientist because he was into alchemy, but he wasn't, trying to change gold into lead in a physical sense. He was talking about the gold within, or change lead into gold. He was talking about the gold within, the philosopher's stone. It's within us. It's literally with us all the time. We're conditioned to ignore it. And we live in a time right now where everything is pulling at our attention. Everything is trying to distract us from realizing the infinite power that we hold within. And it's not us, like physical me. I don't hold this power. It comes from the unconscious. And like the soul lives in the unconscious. The soul, also known as the higher self. But yeah, let me know if this resonates. And gosh, we got 15 minutes in. That's wild. I was going to end the video a couple times, but I'm just sharing the messages as they arise. I'm sharing the inner world as I am experiencing it, in hopes that it could plant a seed or spark some form of thought within you that would influence you to influence yourself and to be less attached to external forces and energies, and realize that it's all coming from within. We can recondition our mind, but we have to first believe that it is possible. If we believe that we will never heal, if we believe we will remain broken, by golly, that's where we will remain. Sometimes the soul forces growth upon us, but unfortunately that is not always the case. Some people live their entire lives and don't realize that their decisions are based on expectations that have been placed on them by someone or some perception of something in the external world. All right. Well, I love you, and I hope you have an amazing day. And until next time, I love you. You matter, and keep going. You got this, baby.